Ladies and gentlemen, next I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce Joanne Baker to say some words. And Joanne's the trustee of Child Victims of War. So if you'd like to put your hands together, give her a warm welcome. Thank you.
I'd like first of all to thank you all so much for coming, and of course to Hastings Against War for working so hard to put this event on, and all the musicians who are here just playing so wonderfully for us. I'll tell you a little bit about Child Victims of War. It was started in 2003 by a few activists who've been campaigning against the sanctions for many years, and we went over after the occupation and invasion, and it was just so appalling after all those years where we just thought things in Iraq could not get any worse, and then to have another invasion at a time when the whole fabric of Iraqi society was so weak and so vulnerable. And the idea of starting the charity was partly to, of course, to help children and women in Iraq, but also, I think, to sort of open an avenue for people in this country, because wars are so destructive. They cause death, they harm the environment, but they also harm relationships between people and between nations. And there seems a terrible rift now between most people in Britain who had campaigned against the war, who hadn't wanted this war, and the people in Iraq who were actually suffering from it. So this is very much, an opening. It's a very grassroots charity. It's a way for ordinary people to just give something to help the children and women of Iraq. Now, when we were in 2003, we couldn't imagine just how Iraqi society was going to collapse the next few years. I'm sure you're aware, it's just got worse and worse for people there. And so some of our initial plans we weren't able to put into practice. But what we are doing now, we're supporting not so much Iraqi children as individuals, but we're supporting Iraqi mothers. And these are women of the poorest families who've lost their menfolk. Their husbands have either been killed or detained or just vanished. And by sponsoring the mother, we're able to hold these families together in a way that they couldn't be held together otherwise, because they have no other form of income, no possibility of work. So it really is the poorest of the poor that we are actually helping at the moment. So that's really our work. And I think also that the charity is also very much about the environment and about the environmental horrors of these wars, the use of uranium in the actual weapon systems, the bombing of the sanitation, and all these things that I know you're aware of, and the terrible ill health amongst Iraqi children now. And I feel also on the whole that now, in the last few years especially, that the peace movement and the environmental movement are coming very close together, and we are becoming more and more aware that we just have one world, and that we do need to take care of nature, we do need to take care of other people and each other. And in a way, this is just an opportunity for us to help care for children in Iraq and to help care for the environment there. So I'd just like to thank you very, very much again for coming.